Well, the unsung hero of most tours is the manager. How difficult a tour has this one been for you?
It's not been too difficult a tour. It's had its moments. We'll probably come onto the playing side shortly, but in terms of the administration and the running of it all, it's been not too bad. We've had a lot of injuries and illnesses which have required hospital visits. I think I've been in 8 hospitals, and I reckon spent about 20 hours in waiting rooms. But I said to someone about a week ago, after I'd been for my 4th visit, that should I ever appear a mastermind, then my specialist subject would be hospitals and medical centres around the Johannesburg area. And funnily enough, I had to go back for the 5th visit, and the doctor said hello you as I walked in the door, so I'm quite well known there now. Other than that, it's been okay. The ICC organisation has been very good indeed. We've stayed at very nice hotels, the transport's been fine. We've had 1 or 2 problems, and Gordon Gowdy had to go home, visits to the airport and so forth, but generally it's not been too bad as well.
Talking of injuries, the first injury of the entire tour was yours, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I got stung inside the mouth by a bee and had to go and get cortisone injections and all sorts.
And how did the bee get there?
The bee got there because it was in a drinks bottle, energy aid bottle beside me. I was actually texting the scores back to Scotland, put my hand down for the bottle, picked up without looking, and the bee got into the bottle. So,
well, obviously behind the scenes there's been a lot going on the playing side and so on. How much influence do you have on the playing matters?
Well, I'm not one of the official selectors. But with Pete Stendhal and Tony Judd, we often talk about things, have meals together, and I put what I think into it, but at the end of the day it's certainly their decision as to who plays in what games.
But has it been particularly difficult with the issues of captaincy? I mean, Ryan has had a difficult playing experience here. Yeah. He can't have been at ease. He needed assistance, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think there's really been any question of Ryan not captaining the side, as some people have suggested at any time during this. He's had a bad trot, there's no doubt about it. I think he's only averaging half a dozen or so. And yet he came into this after the back of last year, when, having played, I just looked at it before I came out, averaging over 30 against all English counties, New Zealand and so forth last year, and looked very, very good in the warm-ups we had. Selection has been, I suppose there's been slight difficulties looking at the wickets and so on. Early morning, do we play seamers and so forth? But overall, it's not been too difficult.
Obviously, a disappointing end to the campaign, and it was a disappointing campaign. But there were some positives, weren't there?
Yes, there were. On the playing side, we certainly had our moments. On the batting side, I would say that Neil McCallum's 3 consecutive centuries were obviously the high point, and Gavin's 129 in adverse conditions early on was a tremendous effort in a very important game, and both Kyle Coetzer and Jan Stander chipped in with good scores along the way. And the bowling front, the bowlers all probably had their moments, some more than others. John Blaine picked up wickets, but particularly mention must go to Craig Wright, who bowled magnificently throughout the tournament. He's been carrying injuries, he's been walking around very wounded leg between games, been strapped up, but he really has fought very hard, and there's been a real credit to the team. So these are probably the highlights for me.
To what extent have other sides' performances and selection policies resulted in Scotland's final position being lower than 4th?
I don't think we're ever bring anything like that up. I think possibly Ireland and Canada rested a few of their players, which we had done exactly the same thing in their position. It's been a very arduous tour for everybody. I know the Irish had 13 players on the physio's bench out of 15 a week ago. Speaking to Roy Turns, the manager. No, I think us remaining 5th in the table, not 4th in the table, is probably down to us more than the selections of other teams.
So looking back, would you say this was an unsuccessful tour, or would you think that there were very successful parts of it?
A curate's egg, I think I mentioned earlier on, good in parts, not so good in parts. Being a World Cup qualifier, World Cup qualification was the main thing. However, to remain in the top 6 and retain our ODI status was very, very important indeed for many reasons. So I would say it's not been successful, as we didn't qualify for the World Cup. We did retain our ODI status, and there have been some very good performances. Equally, there's been some not so good performances, and there'll have to be a very good debrief on it and see where we go from then on.
So, are you looking forward to the new domestic season?
Yes, I always look forward to the cricket season. It's great having a job in cricket, and I think that there are the players here, plus the players that just missed out, the Watts, Berringtons, Lyons, these guys will come into play. Not everyone will be available, so everyone will get their shot during the summer to see who should and shouldn't be there for the future. And the T20, of course, is coming up, which is going to be very exciting in the middle of the summer.
And do you hope to keep turning your arm over yourself?
Yeah, well, I've turned it over a few times on this trip, a couple of lengthy net sessions. I can hardly move the next day. But yes, I'll turn my arm over, but play very, very rarely, probably during the summer.
Well, have a good season.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.